And we move on to our sixth session, plenary session, which is the last one. And it's one of the insights that I gained today when I was sort of summarizing the day at the break. And it's stressed also by many speakers here today. It's that how many different groups should be engaged in the sustainable energy action planning process right from the start, and how that's vital to success. And as it happens, we are in the last session to get two perspectives on this. And my next guest is the environmental coordinator of the city of Växjö in Sweden. She's a part of the team responsible for strategic planning, strategic environmental issues in the municipalities, and work with coordinating strategic and environmental work. And she's going to be inspiring. Welcome, Sopie Kim-Hagdahl.
Hey, nice to be here. Now I will get my presentation. I think you've been sitting a very long time, so if I can ask you this question before I start, who has been in Växjö? Can you please stand up if you have been to Växjö? Stand, raise, and just do like this. Hello. Okay, thank you very much. And now I want to know who hasn't been to Växjö. Can you please stand up and just wave? Yeah. Okay, now you have had a little bit of exercise at least. And who knows anything about the Engage project? Can you please just raise a hand? Yeah, quite a lot. Thank you very much for this. Okay, so my name's Sopie, very bad name. Sopie, and I live in Växjö. Very bad names. So Växjö is in the south of Sweden. And I work for the municipality, and I'm here to talk about one of the parts of my job, project manager of the Engage projects. So, how to engage local citizens in this very important task. It isn't that easy, you know that. I've heard it, and I also had got some good examples now during the day. So, city of Växjö. Well, we are a quite small city. In the 90s, the politicians decided unanimously to be fossil fuel free. Sorry, what happens here? It doesn't do as I like. Okay, so they took a decision to become fossil fuel free already in 1996. Very special decision. And I will talk more about that, or not so much today. So we also signed the Covenant of Mayors because we have those very ambitious targets for the climate area. But it's easy to take a decision. But afterwards, who cares and how can we involve the citizens? Who and how can we engage people? Well, we needed something more than have this good municipal work that we were doing for a long time in our city. We needed also to involve the citizens and the stakeholders, the organizations. So, Engage project is one of many good things that we are doing in Växjö. And it's an intelligent... Sorry, I don't know why it does like this. So we have working with Engage project and the European cities, 12 of them, sorry. The technique isn't with me. But it will get you alert at I think. So we are 12 engaged European cities, and we are more than 50 now. And we want to engage our local citizens, and we do it. It's a Heidelberg project at start. So they started with doing this posters with the climate engagement from citizens, from politicians. And then now we are 12 municipalities that has worked in a project, and we continuously want more municipalities to be part of this project. And this is, I think, Pamplona in Spain. So people, single persons or many people, they can all be part of the climate work. And in Växjö, this girl says, I will save electricity by not using standby. And we have had a lot of posters during different events. So more than 150 citizens, 15 stakeholders and 20 politicians or staff. They will have these posters made with their engagement, their contribution. Because we have these very ambitious climate targets, but we need to have the people's involvement. And in Europe, there are more than 4,200 posters with different persons. Very interesting to see how they vary and what people really want. And I thought when I started this project, this will be very difficult to have people to be on a poster, standing there to tell other people what they are doing. But actually, people are really wanting to do something. They want to contribute, to be part of something. So that is really nice experience. So we started on Earth Hour on making an event and invited people to come. So communication, I think, and to have a message. And we had choir singing. We had a lot of activities, competitions. And we also had the photo shooting on this event. And we had the first posters, and very nice event, very nice climate during this evening. People really were involved. So to say to people, what do you want to do? And they say, oh, I do a lot of things, but can you do something more? So it's a way of making them more engaged and also more visible. And people like this. They want to be seen, to be lifted. And these are two, the regional governor and our mayor in our city, Bo Frank, who also are imposters. Important to have well-known people, but also everyone, your neighbor, your teacher, maybe your ma. So everyone can be part. And we also have had these kids involved in an environmental show to start. This attracts a lot of people, their families, etc. So during several events last year, we had a lot of photo shooting, competitions, exhibited the posters to the citizens. And we want more municipalities to join this project because we think it's a nice way of really making a change and to make people show that they also want to make a change. So there's a web tool, very easy to use for making the posters. And also involved in the project is that you involve your own municipality. You have to have all different departments involved in this, and that you make a campaign, that you make these energy days. So actually Engage project is a help for us in Växjö to do the Covenant of Mayors work as well. So it connects very well to what we are really doing at first, to be fossil fuel free, but also when we sign the Covenant of Mayors. So it's really an extra help and support, and also inspires ourselves. So, as this poster says in Swedish, we have already done it. We have been on posters, but I also say we have already been in the Engage project, so why don't you join us in Engage? So if you can just look at the citiesengage.eu, and there you can find a lot of information, posters, movies, and also the charter to sign if you want to join this and have the possibility to do this project in your city. And very important, as we talked to here, to be engaged, to be inspiring, and to have fun and enjoy what you're doing. And on our website, you can find the Swedish posters. You can find them also on the European. And I hope you can look for the movie, because I didn't took the opportunity to show our 3 minutes video about the Engage in Växjö. But there is a subtitled version, so you don't have to know Swedish to listen or to watch this. So please just look at it afterwards when you come home at your place. I think I was really very quick now, wasn't I?
You were very good. The best thing is about being good, and then you can be quick, and you were both. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Our last speaker for today is Chief Expert of Power Engineering and Municipal Energy Efficiency Officer in the city of Dobrich. She's basically all over the place. That's the impression you get when you read her CV. She's doing great stuff to minimize the city's energy uses, and she's really good at it as well. Judging from the fact that Dobrich Municipality was awarded the prize Bulgarian Eco Municipality earlier this year. Welcome, Elena Anastassova.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank to organizers, to all of you, for the kind invitation on the behalf of Mayor of Dobrich, Mrs. Elena Nikolova, and just to share our experience and to present our new project Imagine and citizens' involvement. in it. The evolution of cities goes hand in hand with an increasing social demand for better health, sustainable transport system, more green spaces in cities, shorter supply chains for food and other resources, shorter distance between working and living areas, and environment-friendly life as a whole. That's why our project is based on the vision Imagine, low-energy cities, with a high quality of life for all, based on the behavior of people and organization of this. To be reached these challenges for all is very important for all. To be reach these challenges, a shared vision is needed. I have this interesting slides thanks to our creative lead partner of the project, Energy Cities. Imagine Low Energy Cities focuses on local stakeholders' dialogue and local vision and process towards Local Energy Roadmap 2050. Our tasks are first, as usually of the project, to establish website, leaflets, newsletters, several low energy city workshops, peer review workshops also. Each city have to organize local energy forum each year. We have for Imagine international seminars. And as final products of the project of realization will be produced local transition strategy for each city, local energy roadmap for 2050. During the project implementation, we'll try to answer what are the articulation between Covenant of Mayors commitments and the long-term vision. We need a clear view of the local transition strategy to benefit from knowledge and know-how, exchanges in order to create local sustainable energy partnership, including relevant local stakeholders around the local authority, and develop the local energy roadmap for 2050, and approved and shared local vision of the energy future of the city, which will influence local policy as a whole. We're using different working methods, which are recommended of the Interreg 4C program. They are shown on the scheme. Very important, and one of the most tool is the stakeholder analysis of the process of development of the local transition strategy on the focus groups. During the project lifetime, will be used different engagement techniques as questionnaire surveys, public meetings, workshop, roundtables, webinars, and etc. To engage or not to engage, and reasons for engagement: better governance, social cohesion and social justice, improved services, capacity building and learning, greater ownership, new legal and regulatory structures. In particular, Imagine and Engagement will building visionary plans for the long-term sustainable development of cities for a low energy climate future. And this is a new approach based on long-term vision, and fluid exchange and involvement of all stakeholders is needed. On the next few slides are shown concrete examples and ideas of how stakeholders and citizen engagements are part of the Imagine project engagement process in our city. Of course, every year we organize Municipal Intelligent Energy Days during the European events, as European Sustainable Energy Week or Mobility Week all September at the moment. We have initiatives in our city with interesting events and initiatives by involving different stakeholders. And as you can see from the pictures, the young people are the most active group. This year, our municipality was awarded for its sustainable energy policy, led as a whole with the award Bulgarian Eco Municipality. Here we had a very interesting initiative with one partner in our city, which producing this e-tongue. At the moment also, they are our partners during the Mobility Week. And on Friday, we have Local Energy Forum. As conclusion, I can highlight from my personal point of view that what are the most important stages on the successful municipal sustainable energy policy. Firstly, today was mentioned many times that we need a political decision for development of such policy, the willingness of decision makers. After that, these decision makers, of course, needs a good local capacity in the administrative structures. Also was mentioned today, we need a good database with information, especially for the municipal buildings, for the energy consumptions, for the street lightings also. Of course, to involve potential stakeholders and analysis in our project, in our strategies, and to develop, for example, sustainable energy action plans or another strategy or energy program with different financial instruments to implement these programs with stakeholders' involvement. And I think that sustainable energy action plans can be a tool to reach Europe's 2020 energy targets. Of course, if the aforementioned the conditions are fact. Enthusiasm is needed, as King Kovat said today. Thanks for the attention.
Thank you so much. Why don't you take a seat? And so if you could join us on stage as well. I think it's time to cut this thing off. You talked about the analysis of local stakeholders. Did that take you a lot of time, or is that an ongoing process, or was it sort of fairly quickly to map?
Now we're starting. This will be a long process and difficult, very difficult, especially with the business industries. But we needed this information. We needed their willingness. That's why we should make everything what is needed to be taken their future initiatives and future willingness for the development of the city. This is our idea. Will
you go back every year and do another analysis to see if there's new stakeholders, or how are you thinking about the future?
Will be different for each year. Will be very different. But now we're starting, and this project will take 3 years to be developed as a whole, the strategy of the city. Of course, we'll need decision making of municipal council to accept this so long 2050 strategy. Yeah. And after that, we'll see. Probably per 2 years, as is the covenant of mayor's requirements, we should report what happened.
What has been your strategy in Växjö? The analysis of local stakeholders. How did you go about?
To involve our citizens.
No, how do you do an analysis of which local stakeholders that are important to achieve your goals?
I think we do it all the time during all the process. We have had a long work, as I said, and we also work in different projects. So each project we have to deal with this discussion.
So it's an ongoing process that's sort of woven into the way you work.
Yes.
It's if you look at the most important stage of the municipal energy planning and sustainable development from your point of view. If I stress you to say just one, what we say is the most important success factor, so in order to get this going?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Only one.
Only one.
Only one.
The most important one.
Cooperation networking. That's, But there are so many.
Yeah. You cannot do it yourself.
No, it's very hard.
But you've been working with a strategy where you, in your communication, involve a lot of citizens from a broad range of background. How did you arrive at that strategy? Because, as you said initially, it could be said that you have just a few because it's easier, but then you choose many.
Yeah, we have had different projects to involve citizens. So Engage is one project, but we also worked in another to change their behavior to save electricity during the SEAP project. And that involved all the citizens in the city center. So we will try different ways. This is the broad way of attracting a lot of citizens, but we will also try to have some that we choose more selectively. Yeah.
Lena, you have shown us some successful practices. Are they now being multiplied to other local authorities as well, or?
Yes, thanks to our municipal network for energy efficiency, Eco-Energy. Each year we have meetings and presenting our experience, what is the best practices also. We have annual competition with the best municipal practice with which municipality is working hardest on the topic during the previous year. So, as I mentioned on Friday, we have a local energy forum at regional level. We invited my colleagues from the other municipalities just to see what we are doing at the moment and to compare with them.
When I asked you about your hidden talents, I found out that they were both related to music. Sopie plays the flute and Elena practiced the national Bulgarian dances. So what lessons can we bring from the musical world into this world of energy?
That we need more energy in some way.
That we need more energy? How do you mean?
Personal energy. We need to have the dance. I love to dance as well. And music and dance is a good way of using energy to get a better climate. But you also need to save energy to have a better climate.
Are we being a bit too professional sometimes, you feel?
Maybe.
A bit boring, suit and tie. Pointing at no one.
Well, we have talked about this before, to have fun and to make it interesting. I think that's a way of making it more personal. And I love to dance Bulgarian dance and international dancing too.
You seem brought that into the project. There were a lot of kids dancing here. And
yes, because this is very traditional in our country. And when you stay all day in front of the computer, you really need some movement and some to get off the stress. And this is very attractive at the moment in Bulgaria.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming here and sharing your energy. A round of applause. We have candies as well.
And food is important as well, yeah.
So why don't you join me on stage, Marika? And it's time for a conclusion of the event today. Some highlights, some reflections on your part?
Indeed. I thought we've covered an extremely dense range of topics. Probably everybody is pretty tired after this long day, but I would actually like to get a feeling, has anybody here heard, well, we assume everybody has heard at least one new thing, so if you've heard something new or inspiring, raise your hand. Most of you. Excellent. That's what we wanted to achieve. I think Anders was the only person who challenged us on the title of the conference, which I found interesting. So our conference title, Energy Action Planning Made Easy. It is not easy. We know this. But we also wanted to make sure that you know what support is available. We've seen some fabulous examples of stakeholder involvement, which means people involvement in your action plan. We've seen some great ways where good practices are being collected and the toolbox where we would want to centralize all the information. So the material and the support is out there, people. You just need to reach out and make use of it. I
think, mentally, as you said, we've been all over the place during this day. And at the same time, it's been that sort of key message on networking, going together, working with the people who understands you, and then reaching out to get examples, but also to give stuff back and upload to your network and your peers.
Indeed. I think everybody has something to share. From the smallest community, you might have an inspiring approach that the bigger ones want to learn from. So give and take.
I think that was a great thing, the advice on sort of not just working with your peers, but sort of with your bigger and smaller siblings.
Absolutely. And I think our opening presentation this morning, showing that you are in a context, you're in a region, and this urban, peri-urban, rural dimension is very, very interesting and something we are not exploring properly. And yes, Rian is my husband, just so that you know, because a lot of people ask me. But that was also an inspiring
good
vision.
Good people knows good people. We know that.
Inspiring. We need to connect to one another, and we need to connect in our contexts. We need to connect as well.
Yeah. I mean, going to some conferences, I think that it's the language issue, of course, comes up when you go to European conferences as opposed to in the US. Yeah. But at least we know of our boundaries and our language boundaries. I think we try even harder to reach than they take stuff for granted.
Absolutely. The cultural differences are actually quite interesting because it makes Europe unique and it makes for diversity, which makes you maybe challenge and question practices of others. And still you want to always look for that seed that you can take home, and there is always a seed.
There's always a seed. I think that was had been a great day. I'm pleased that we managed to end on time. I was a bit worried.
Wonderful.
And we had a lot of questions, and we deliberately put lots of time into the lunch and into the break in the afternoon to enable you to interact and talk to each other. And there will be plenty more tonight, and tomorrow you will be seen take more seats back home.
Absolutely. I just want to recap. We had 120 people registered to be physically here. We had 130 people registered for the online web streaming. So already, theoretically, 250 people. We will send you the link to the live web streaming, which is videotaped. So send it to your colleagues and point them to specific speakers and people you found interesting and ideas that they can explore and take home. And give us your feedback. In your package, you will find a feedback questionnaire. Let us know who were the greatest speakers, that we know who to invite for the next events. Give us ideas, give us your feedback, because you are the stakeholders that we want to also engage at the European level.
I started with saying how impressed I was with you and how you were my heroes, and I think that's been underlined since that you are the ones who are doing it, and you are the important ones that are making this happen.
Absolutely. Thank you to our host, Malmö. Wonderful. And we will see more on the study tour tomorrow for those of you who can join us. But it was a wonderful conference, well organized. Thank you very much. And to Per.
Thank you so much. Do you want to take the rest of the coordinates for today, or should I? We have there was talk about the Tutankhamun exhibition, but that something got confused, and so they are basically closed now.
Tomorrow during the day, if you have a chance, you can still pop by. I guess they're open. Unfortunately, they've closed at 4 o'clock today, and we apologize for that.
But it's absolutely spectacular and very, very interesting. So if you have time, I strongly advise you to go there. And tonight there's a mingled buffet.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us more about that?
Well, I do not know much, except it starts at 8 o'clock at the HIP restaurant in the city center. And we look forward to you there. It's a nice opportunity to connect and speak and just have some fun, because we've heard we need some more fun. So a little bit of wine will flow, and we will enjoy ourselves there.
Should we end the day as we started by applauding ourselves then?
Absolutely.
Thank
Good
you.
applause for everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you and good night.